Activate cloaking. They're ready when you are, Persephone.
They are in the briefing room.
Yes, ma'am.
What's up, guys? Welcome to my review for Agents of Mayhem, which is a game developed by Volition Software, the people that made Saints Row and Saints Row 1 and 2, and all those things, Johnny Got Out of Hell. And basically, the concept is that you're one of these agents of mayhem that are in a world war, basically, or a conflict in Seoul, South Korea. Reps the makers to make it in my home country and my hometown. That's pretty cool. And each one of these agents works for this Agents of Mayhem syndicate run by this person named Persephone. And Persephone was also a villain herself. Has just decided to be, a good person now and, switch to the good team, right? Being a good guy. So she's recruiting all these individuals with different backgrounds. And basically these are all soldiers or specialists at some point. And you work in a 3-man squad, and in this 3-man squad, as you kill enemies, you can upgrade their abilities. The one thing that does bother me about it is that, they only have the one weapon, right, and the one ability. So Hardtack has a shotgun. He will always have a shotgun. He will never have anything else. He has a shotgun and something that teleports people through him, right? And that's cool that, he has that one weapon that does that one thing and you can't upgrade it. But it's a shame that they don't have different loadouts. It's a shame that the only weapon that these characters will ever use is the weapon that you see on them, right? And while you can, upgrade it for damage, and you can change, the way they look, and, you can add effects to it, and they have an ultimate, which is cool. The ultimate, by the way, never changes. It just upgrades damage. These things, while unique to the character, it would be nice to have a different loadout, right? I'm not asking for a Call of Duty loadout where you have like 7 or 8 different loadouts you can stack in. I'm just saying that using a bow for like 2.5 hours and nothing else is kind of lame, right? The traversal movement for the characters is all the same. They pretty much just jump the same distance, right? Some look a little more agile than others, but it's pretty much cosmetic. They all jump the same height, and they all move pretty much the same way. And, moderately fast speed. And you can definitely tell the art style and the crafting about how these characters are made. It's just very based off Volition's model for characters as, in Saints Row. And the environments are different, right? The outside environments are very cool. They're, it's Seoul, it's an industrious capital in Korea, right? There's big cities, there's billboards, there's people doing stuff that don't seem to mind that you're destroying their city, literally. But these indoor environments that every boss seems to hang out in, you have this epic cutscene where you jump in and you go to these environments, and it's a huge build-up, but really every environment and base that you infiltrate is the same. It's like this barren warehouse where there's explosions going off and cool, but it's basically big, empty, gray buildings full of corridors with something you have to hack. And by hack, I mean you just press A on a roulette wheel like you would in a golf simulator, and you hit the sweet spot, and it's hacked, okay? And I know it's supposed to get harder as you go up, and the hacking is supposed to get more difficult, but it doesn't. It's really the same thing. And they didn't put any effort into building the environments besides the outside environment you can interact with anyways. They put so much effort into these characters' voicing, right? And they outline all these missions, and the missions seem so interesting, and they show everyone's age, and God, this guy is 124 years old. What is going on here? How is he alive? I guess it's the future. Who knows anymore, right? We're all looking for flying cars and stuff. I guess we can just live to 124 now. Anyways, not important. So they outline these missions and these bases, and they do this for every villain, right? There's even like customized little dialogue when you're in each building, and it's really cool. All the characters have really unique voices, and they kind of play to each stereotype. Like the Indian woman, was just speaks in that harsh, Indian accent, and the big dude's all tough, and he talks about how big he is. Hollywood guys really egotistic, but these environments and these characters should come, hand in hand. You shouldn't put all your emphasis into the character building and put nothing into the environments. And speaking of something that stays the same through the whole game, Jesus, does the shooting mechanics stay the same. Basically, every enemy has a health bar, and the difficulty only adds a bigger health bar to the enemies, right? Headshots do more damage, but the weapons that every single person uses besides the bow and arrow and the sniper rifle character, God, are they inaccurate, right? If you're trying to get headshots, that's cool. It gives you damage boost for headshots, and I will tell you why it does. Because it's very hard to pull off headshots in this game. Because the guns are always terribly inaccurate. And on the off chance that you're driving, I mean that's awesome. The races are pretty useless actually. They grant you some decent bonuses, but they're not necessary for the story. But when you step into a vehicle and your vehicle talks, by the way, with an English accent, which is awesome, they handle so much better than the characters. They're more fluent, and when you get back to shooting people in your character, you can just tell that the driving is so smooth, right? These cars handle like dreams, but your character handles like he's like stumbling around, right? He looks like he's always confused. He's trudging along no matter who it is, and they can jump high and all that, which is cool, which is sweet, but useless when it comes to shooting, right? Because the mechanics in the shooting, not only are they stale and you have to shoot someone in the head a bunch of times and they can take a crap load of damage, but your character he must have a huge magnet on his back. Because no matter where you are, unless you're directly behind cover, and by the way, you can't take cover in this game. You can only stand behind cover, right? Let's go backwards a step, and let's just make everyone just not be able to take cover, right? These enemies have the best accuracy I've ever seen, besides Call of Duty Veteran Mode, right? This is basically Halo Legendary with only snipers. These enemies lock in on you a million miles away, and it's weird because these enemies are and these characters are so well. Even the enemies that you shoot like one time, right? Like this dude that's 124 somehow. His voice acting, his minions, they all look cool. This looks so cool, right? This cutscene's like, hey, I want to watch this on, a Cartoon Network. This could be an anime, and it could. It really could. However, God, this is a letdown when you get to the actual gameplay, because it's just so much potential that they put in this game, and they use none of it. They took all the potential and put it in creating these graphic cutscenes and these characters, but none of it in the shooting. The first Saints Row in 2008 or 2007 had better shooting mechanics in this game. That's sad. The driving mechanics are amazing. Shooting mechanics are terrible. And more you can update the character, right? You can play individual character missions, and these character missions unlock new agents for you to use, and that's interesting. And the dialogue's always cool, and it is funny, but the more you play the game, right, the more that you unlock characters, the more you realize that every mission is the same. There's a briefing, you go to a warehouse, when you finally clear out a set amount of areas with enemies, right, their health bars go down, you try to get headshots, you fail, and then the next cutscene plays, right? And it's disappointing that Volition has done this, because they made the Punisher game, right, and that was like 2005 for the original Xbox, and that game was incredible. It had so much lore. It was just so amazing. Saints Row 2 had the best soundtrack I've ever heard. Black Dahlia Murder, freaking Paramore was on there. Taking Back Sunday, Carcass, right? And people have been patiently waiting for Volition to open another game or re-release the Saints Row games in HD. Instead, we get this game that is just so gorgeous. The city's so gorgeous that everything about it is so gorgeous, but the gameplay is just not good. And even though you can play it all three agents at a time, and they all have three different weapons, you play this game for a few hours and it gets stale. And there is co-op play on it, and that might raise the fun factor a little bit, but I think I've seen most places give this game a 6, right? There's no music when you're walking around the environments, so it's dead silent all the time, and there's no radio in Korea, apparently. I mean, I haven't been there in a long time, but when you get in a car, there's just this weird dance music, and your car goes a million miles an hour, so nothing. So there's no music, there's just stale gunplay, interesting characters, and stale environments. So yeah, probably give it a 6 too.
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the Agents of Mayhem review. It was super fun to make. Super chill game. I don't really know how worth it is for buying. There's a store near me that's $12, but honestly, it was pretty good. Thanks. Subscribe to the channel. Represent all the Asians in the world, man. Hit me up. Follow me on here. There's a Twitter at Seouless Gaming. Twitter, I'm going to be updating with as I put more content out. Right now, I haven't had a lot of time to put content up. I keep walking out of the camera. I'm not used to this, being on camera. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this. It means a lot. Give it a like, subscribe, and hit me up later. Later.